dunk attempt from behind, and that one's gonna go James Ray. It's a shot from distance, and it's over the goal line. Looking for a lane. It's his hand free and scores. Ryan Manesh. It's like he heard us talk about him. Connor Lies back into the fray.
Either way, Six Nations ball.
Gonna tie the game, they get the pick and roll, and they find it. Evans getting a rough ride here. Now numbers here for the Sioux. Shatler, Evans with a shot and a goal. Sean Evans muscling through with a shovel shot, and they score again. Six Nations with an opportunity to tie this game as Durston feeds to the middle, gets it back, and scores. Numbers ever as Dixon goes on a 2-on-1 over to Shatler, and that's gonna count. Back. Spins underneath again. Spins one more time for good measure. Gets a shot off and scores.
Whipping for Bowhunter. Sean Lentz with a breakaway. Scores!
Welcome back to BC Sports TV, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the Ladner Leisure Center. Welcome back to the President's Cup. Tino Farah, Teddy Jenner here, just about ready to go here for the start of the face-off here in this third game of the day between the Allegany Arrows and the Victoria Shamrocks. Let's get a quick look at the odds brought to you by CoolBet. Embrace the unexpected with CoolBet, the official sportsbook of the 2024 President's Cup. Check out the upcoming games for the Prezi at coolbet.com and dive into the action today with the best odds in lacrosse. Gambling can be addictive. Stay cool. Bet responsibly.
Stay cool, bet responsibly.
See, I turned your mic down.
Sorry.
Because you were dealing with something. I was trying
Small phone emergency, Tino.
trying to be considerate there for you.
I appreciate that, bud.
What do you think of the odds here, Teddy?
Probably pretty solid. 19 and a half. I think I would take the under, knowing what we know. Insider information of what the lineups are. I don't know if we get to 20 goals. We could. But no Fraser, no Kluche, no Atwood for Allegany. Those are their three top offensive players. So I think we might see a lower scoring game. I think Goa Abrams going to have a great game between the pipes. I think Cody Cook's going to have a great game for Victoria. So I'm taking the under, and I'm taking Victoria plus 2.5. I still think Allegany wins, though.
Not a bad bet. We'll go down to the floor now for the anthems. Well, there you have it. The anthems are behind us, and the game is just ahead of us here. Again, the Victoria Shamrocks getting set to once again look for their first victory of the tournament in their last game of the tournament. They'll take on the Allegany Arrows, who are trying to lock in first place. The game later on involving Ladner will play a factor in that as well. But Teddy, what can you tell us about the standings as we head towards the later days of the Prezi?
Well, as it sits right now with that tie, the Miners are 4-1-1, followed by Allegany and Ladner at 4-1 apiece. Snake Island at 3-2, Six Nations 2-3-1. Standing Buffalo 1-5, Victoria 0-6. So Tina mentioned it, 0-5, looking for their first win. But our top 4 teams are in. Edmonton, Allegany, Ladner, Snake Island will play in the semifinals tomorrow. We just don't know where they're all going to wind up. That tie does throw a bit of a wrinkle into things, but now we just got to see if Allegany and Ladner can do their part. Snake Island wants to get a 4th win. They could create some havoc as well. We'll just have to kind of be patient, wait and see. Herbie John, Marcus Fisher, and Vincent Burrell are your officials.
And a face-off win from Victoria is just what the doctor ordered for the Shamrocks. Matt Hermson's done a great job at the face-off dot all week long. He heads off to get the offense on. Here's Tyler Mace with the first touch. Far side feed, Boyd. Return feed to Mace. Looking through the middle, 13 to shoot. Back to Boyd. Low shot off the mark. And that'll ricochet back over the center line. Again, Teddy mentioned it. Goa Abrams, the starting goaltender for the Allegany Arrows, and Cody Cook gets in between the pipes for the Shamrocks.
Scratches for Allegany, Kluche, Thornberg, Janice, Jimerson, Fraser, and Atwood. Good to see Justin Gill back in the lineup.
And there's the first goal of the game, and it'll go to Keon Whitcomb. One shot, one goal for the Arrows.
That's exactly how the last game started, as both teams scored on their first shots, and Keon Whitcomb gets his first of the tournament. Scratching for Victoria, Morrison, Holmes, Golia, Cardinal, Spence, and Jeffrey. And just talking to a lot of people around, they've been very impressed with this young Victoria team. Obviously not how their tournament has gone, not how they wanted their tournament to go, but they've been in almost every game they've played. They lost by Six Nations to 6, Snake Island by 2, Standing Buffalo by 2, Edmonton by 3, Ladner by a couple. They've been in every game.
That game last night between Victoria and Ladner was a wild one. And
it was just a 1-goal game, 5-4.
I really thought that Victoria was going to get it done, and now we got a delayed call coming up against Victoria. As Whitcomb sends it to the near side, shot and a save for Cody Cook. That'll be his first save of the game, if I'm correct there.
Correct.
Thank you.
The announcer jacked his mic volume up again.
I see that. I was saying before, I don't think it's necessarily the mic volume. I think that's the
mic placement.
The mic placement. I think it's playing a factor a little bit. We could probably just lower it, honestly, a full foot.
He's got good voice.
Yep.
He projects very well.
Yep.
Let's focus on some lacrosse.
And we will do exactly that. Lane Smith directing a little traffic. He wants his crease guy a little bit closer in. And they'll work it around the perimeter here. Becker, backhand feed to Smith, looking top right, fought off by the shoulder of Cody Cook, and the Arrows will get a reset. Smith now from the corner, up to Kettle. Fake pass, now back to the outside they'll go. Becker, backhand feed, Smith, cross floor, shot, and that's some friendly fire. As I believe that hit Amos Whitcomb behind the goal.
Brother on brother violence.
Now Becker on his wrong side, shot and a save by Cook. Rebound again collected. They want the dunk. There's the fake leaning forward, inside, no. Now David Byrne. Been one of the best players in the tournament for the Shamrocks. Down low. What a pickoff there. Who was that? Trying to see a number on the Arrows player. Justin Gill, I believe.
Yeah, that's Justin Gill was taken out. Was that the first game?
It was.
And a very scary hit in their opening game. Had to be helped off by trainers. There was some question if he was ever going to return in this tournament. So awesome to see number 74, Justin Gill, back out on the floor.
Good way to test out the legs and see how he does to, potentially make him an option for a very important semifinal game tomorrow for the Arrows, as Whitcomb goes down low. Amos Whitcomb going to run point here. Lane Smith, fake pass back to the outside. Shot from distance. A rising subber goes high into the shoulder of Cook. Another loose ball collected. Fake pass. Now Smith will slow things down. About to return to 5-on-5 action. Another rising subber. Simpson's out of the box. Shot clock down to 15.
Good job by the Shamrocks killing off that penalty, but already down 5-0 in the shot department. Snake at 6-0.
And now Christensen over center on the breakout feed from Cook. Kept at bay here as he waits for some help to come in the form of Tyler Mace. Late man joining is Wade. Now Johnson steps into a shot and a glove save by Abrams. Loose ball falls in front of the net. And the last player to run through the crease was the next player to touch for the Shamrocks, and that'll end that possession.
Nice save there from Goa. It's the first time he's been tested.
Here's Becker. Over to the far side. Another rising one. This one goes into the midsection of Cook. Good positional save. Now Raymond.
And that's, the fortunate part for Victoria is that their goaltenders haven't gotten off to the greatest starts, but once they kind of shake off the first 5 minutes, they've been excellent.
Yeah, that was a huge talking point last night about Colin Jeffrey as they get a chance going through as Boyd scores! Tie game.
Jackson Boyd with his 4th of the tournament. And just nice little slip of the pick by Bowie. Feeds it to Boyd, who takes a shot. Abrams got a piece of it, but just not quite enough. And this will be a good look from behind. Yeah, see, if this is the NLL, that's that goal actually shouldn't count. Even in a tournament like this. Goa made the saves. Boyd's momentum took him through the crease. The ball still hadn't crossed the line yet. So it should have been no goal, but Victoria will take it. And they'll continue to battle.
So if you're a coach, you're throwing the flag there.
Oh, 1,000,000%. Even before the official had blown it as a good goal, I was throwing that flag.
Yeah, hard to disagree with you there. But a chance now for the Arrows to go back on top. Whitcomb to Smith, 13 to shoot, looking far side. That one off the mark, off the corner boards, and all the way over center. If Victoria can pick it up, they would have had numbers, but Christensen will peel back. Byrne will do the same, and Kyle Drouin will collect, getting a whistle in the corner. Absorbs a slash, skips one to Johnson. Parker Johnson working with Mace. Low shot, oh my goodness! Parker Johnson!
His 5th, and I'm not sure how this one went in. Got some space off the pick, and oh my. Oh my, Parker Johnson. Top cheese indeed.
Wow.
Like, to be able to throw a low to high sub shot that still gets over the goalie's shoulder and picks the top corner, that is just a shooter shot from Parker Johnson, and Victoria now has the lead.
Now a chance for the Arrows to tie things up. Teddy, you and I just got a text describing that goal as just yuck, and I think that's the accurate description, in my opinion.
But like a good yuck.
Yeah, a great yuck. As David Byrne puts on the burners himself, shoots, and a glove stop by Abrams.
He had too many defenders around him. He couldn't pull the brakes, and now he's kind of on a bit of a slow limp heading off, but you're right, you mentioned it before, Tino. He's had an excellent tournament for the Victoria Shamrocks, pushing transition, playing steady defense, and been one of their key cogs all week.
Would not surprise me if he finds his way to an NLL training camp at some point here. Becker's going to take a shot and score just inside the post.
A nice response by Allegany as Becker drives down, rolls back, gets a great pick from Lane Smith to create the space. Then he's able to go far side, stick side on Cody Cook. Shots 9-4 in favor of Allegany, score tied at 2.
Yeah, I mean, we talk about that Parker Johnson goal from just a moment ago, how perfectly placed of a shot that was. I mean, that's a good one as well. Not necessarily as pretty in terms of, you know, the definition of top corner, but that's another one that's just inside the post. And some early highlight reel goals here. Just that pinpoint accuracy continues to be a storyline as Wade looks to get in on the fun. He tucks underneath, circles back, forced way outside. Now pass through the middle. Underneath, Bowie lost the handle, goes to the corner. He's got 2 defenders on his back, pinned along the boards. Now Johnson, backhand feed, need to get a shot off. Mace does, but puts it wide.
Yeah, good extra pass. I thought Parker Johnson probably could have pulled the trigger there. But good pressure defense from Allegany.
Now Nate Kettle. Smith back to Kettle. 10 seconds through the shot clock. Kettle driving, runs into a double team, lost the handle. One hand on his stick, feeds back to Smith, has room, and Cook shuts the door.
Now Ari Stevens got away with a hold there. Allegany bench wanted the call, none coming. And a good save there from Cody Cook.
Good start from both of these teams. Again, Allegany needs a win and some help in the late game if they want to secure first place. And the Shamrocks trying to play a little bit of spoiler here. As Drouin sends one over to Boyd, or at least attempted to. Had to take it off the boards. Floating one behind the net. That one not on target, and that'll end that shot clock.
Yeah, Brody Wade was just kind of posted up behind the net. They were looking for a late feed for the dunk, but the pass didn't connect. And, you know, Allegany is going to be the better team, most likely this entire game. But Victoria just never quits. And if Allegany isn't careful, Victoria could catch them napping.
As the feed goes to the near side, Becker, 5 to shoot, fakes the spin, maybe couldn't get it. Backhand goes off the shoulder of Cook and out of play, and that's one that he's probably going to be frustrated with himself. That was going over the net anyways. Had he stayed just planted on his feet, that would have been a expiring shot clock. Instead, possession back to the Arrows, and they'll go over to the righties first. Shot over the net, off the dasher and high into the air. Byrne wanted to go. Ball didn't fall to him. Now Whitcomb on his wrong side. He'll circle the cage. Defender runs into an official. Backhand shot by Maybe, and a save by Cook. Here come the Shamrocks. Numbers if they hurry. Alone on a breakaway. Stopped by Abrams. Byrne gets the loose ball, and Abrams makes 2 straight saves, denying Victoria of reclaiming the lead.
Great look there for Benson and Byrne. Both had chances. Both tried to go low on Goa, and both turned away by Goa.
Now Kettle back into the mix. He spins underneath. One hand on his stick, looks for a target. Couldn't find one. Now goes to the far side, and a stick save by Cook. Loose ball, near side. Big collision. Kettle loses it, and Christensen will pick it up. 2-on-2. Christensen with McCulley.
Slow numbers here for Victoria.
And they will slow it down. Johnson through the middle. Now they speed it up with a shot, and a save by Abrams again.
Yeah, that was a good look for Parker Johnson. Finding Bowie cutting through the middle as both teams kind of got lost in the change there.
And again, if you missed it off the top, no Chase Fraser, no Chris Kluche, no Chris Atwood in the lineup here today for the Arrows. So missing some firepower, but still looking to lock in first place. Now Wade over top, gets the screen, wrapped up, so he'll send it over to the far side. Boyd takes a big jab step, floats one to the middle, nobody home. Abrams will take it away.
And this Allegany defense is very staunch, and their goaltenders have been absolutely outstanding. All three have played in this tournament, Abrams, Seneca, and Martin, and all have goals against below 10 and save percentages in the 80s. Is now a delayed penalty coming up to Clark Pickup.
Maybe back to his feet, turning into a wrestling match here. Pickup gets back to his feet. There's a blocked shot by a Victoria defender. That one lobbed over the goal line, and that one looked like it stung Matt Perry. Let's see if we can take a look at the penalty here on the replay. And that'll give us immediate timeout as well, so perfect timing here.
Yeah, Pickup's right there. There's the cross-check to the back of Maybe. And then he gets up, and Pickup wants some more and ends up throwing him to the ground. So 2 or less for Pickup.
And, you know, a pretty good start again for the Shamrocks. You know, they allow the first goal on the first shot, something we've seen plenty of times in this tournament overall. But it's that ability, you know, to take a punch and punch right back. And now they find themselves in a situation tied with, I mean, in a close game last night against one of the teams tied for first place. And I know this one's early, but a good showing, a good start against another team tied for first place.
Yeah, you know, we've talked about it a lot during this Victoria team's broadcast all tournament. They are a very young team. They got, you know, 7 or 8 guys that were still in junior last year. For 90% of them, it's their first time ever at a national championship of this scale. And even more so, it's their first time playing against men. And there are some big men in this tournament. So it's been a bit of a learning curve. It's been a bit of an eye-opener. But they've been full value. They've taken every team to the wire. That in most of their games, they've had third-period leads. It's just unfortunate they've run into some penalty trouble. And they haven't been able to close down games. But again, that just comes with inexperience at this level. But, you know, I think Tyson Lyons, Tim Dennett, their whole staff and crew have to be very impressed the way this young team has battled. I know they would like a couple more wins in the column, but they've had an unbelievable showing and earned a lot of respect from all the teams.
Becker going to run point here and start some motion. Space freed for Kettle, who looks 7-hole. Now they got a man up to play in Christensen, who's off to the races. Defender closing the gap. Christensen will slow up. Now he'll go to the net looking far side, and Abrams stretching out, gets a piece of it with his leg.
Yeah, they keep trying to do the old reach, pull her back 5-hole, and it's tough to do that against Goa.
Might be time to switch things up a little bit in the shot selection. As the power play goes back to work, it'll be paused for a moment as Keon Whitcomb had to reclaim the handle. Now Kettle back to the outside. Whitcomb down low, and the one-timer blocked by a defender. Kettle lost it. Another one for Smith, and that one stings Davis McCulley back to his feet, and he'll get some attention, I'm sure, as he gets back onto the bench.
To quote our good buddy Jonathan Donville, good eating, don't rub it, Davis. A couple times these Victoria Shamrock defenders have worn some off the shins. It's part of being, you know, in good defensive position.
Shout out to the mayor of the Good Eat, Don't Rub It club, I guess I'll say, John Donville.
Long outside shot there. The 8-second clock count is on here for Rudy George. They're not going to get it across.
Oh, a mental hiccup, we'll call it.
Yeah, no, Summer Victoria's got to pick up this ball before the referees blow it in.
And they can kill the rest of this penalty here as it goes down to about 20 seconds now. 6-second difference between the shot and the penalty clock. So they'll send it to the outside. Is Matt Hermson the only player that was on your Founders Cup running team from last year?
He wasn't. Yes.
That's another one of those tournaments that's a learning experience for some of these guys as well. And I know he's a rookie on this team, of course, just playing his last year of junior last season. But
Brody Wade was a junior last year. Jack Bowie was in junior last year. Hayden Cardinal was in junior last year. So like I said, they are an extremely young team. But when you think about a guy like Winter Rivera, who's in his second President's Cup and is only 17.
Pretty unbelievable.
Kind of shake your head. There's no excuses now.
They look for reclaiming the lead. What a goal by Whitcomb. Amos Whitcomb puts his team back on front.
This is a beautiful finish from Amos Whitcomb.
I mean, what do you do if you're Cody Cook here?
He tried to do everything he could. Bit on the first fake, tried to recover on the second, and then just couldn't get the stick up in time. There's one, there's two, and then Whitcomb just kept his stick nice and high, put it back short side on Cody Cook for his second of the game. Sorry, his first of the game. His brother Keon had the opener. And they're going to get Dylan Raymond on an interference, knocking Rudy George to the turf.
Unbelievable stuff here. One more Whitcomb to find their way onto the score sheet, or one more remaining, I should say, is Kobe Whitcomb. Looks for his first of the game. Now Lane Smith tries to stuff one home and does. 2 straight for the Arrows.
And Lane Smith just continues his fantastic tournament, and I think he might have hurt himself here. He's slow to get up as the big man, but that's his 11th goal of the tournament. And this is just a great individual effort as he took an extra shot there from Greg Simpson. And actually, I think it might have been Hermson who got him. But Lane Smith can do it all from the outside, from the inside, on an ISO, on an island. And 2 goals in quick succession here for Allegany.
I have thoroughly enjoyed watching the 2-man game of Lane Smith and Chris Kluche. 2 big bodies that like to crash and bang, have good shots from distance, good hands inside. A little bit of everything from those 2, and when they're on the floor together, of course, Chris Kluche out of the lineup for this game, but now a shot. Connor Lies has that one go wide.
And Victoria's got to be careful. We talk about, how they've been able to stay in games. This is one of those moments where Allegany's starting to go downhill with some momentum. They can't allow them to continue to extend this lead.
Got to stop the run.
Well, they got to stop letting guys go free in the middle.
And now they got to take care of the ball when they get in the offensive zone, and they'll try to do that now as Benson will fake the drop feed, connects with Wade. Followed up to Riley Marsh. He'll come over top, falling, pass through, ends up in the corner. Bowie couldn't find it. Now a long feed goes up. Here's Tristan Jensen. I saw Chase Fraser thrown around with Jensen's Woody in warmups. It's so impressive to me when guys can show off their handles with one of those sticks. It's McCulley over to Byrne, takes a huge hit, falls down to the turf, just as quickly gets back up, and then just as quickly goes back down. Has got a rough ride on that shift, and he is shaken up and going back to the bench very slowly.
That's a man shift there from Byrne. Unfortunately, who's on the receiving end of a couple big hits.
Now there's a spin move underneath. Tried to go on target with a shot. Was Austin. Maybe he'll go across and step through the crease. Get a pat on the back from Cody Cook for his efforts. Here's Hermson. He'll slow things down. Head off for a change. It's Parker Johnson with 1 goal in this period. A beautiful one at that. And he looks for his second. Here's Boyd. Swims underneath. Has an option for a flip. Sends it through. Good handles by Drouin. And a shot and a save. Courtesy of Goa Abrams.
Kyle Drouin's got some really nifty hands. And, if he just kind of puts on a little more weight and gets a little more experience, he could definitely have himself a long career at this level. Just kind of have to get a little more experience and understand, how much you're going to have to work to have success at this level.
Now Cook wants to throw this one. He's going to, as Benson is waiting for it. Delayed call coming up on an illegal substitution by the Arrows. Benson pressured. He's got a lane to the net, and the gap was closed. Cook to the bench. 6-on-5 now for the Shamrocks.
I think the Allegheny bench has a right to argue. They already had at least 2 guys back. But Marcus Fisher thought they went a little early.
Now Johnson, 3 to shoot. He will shoot. That goes off the chest protector of Abrams. And as Jensen collects, that will send Victoria to their first power play of the game.
Yeah, and this is an area Victoria, can continually work on. They've had a little bit of success throughout this tournament with the man advantage. Parker Johnson, Brody Wade, Jackson Boyd, Bowie, and Marsh down there. Just move the ball, send some cutters, don't stand still.
Dial in the little details, the good habits, as they will work it around the perimeter to start things off. Johnson backpedals, now goes forward, over to Boyd, shot, low save by Abrams. Wade deflected the loose ball, and they'll collect for a reset. Now Marsh.
Good double steal there from Wade.
Johnson fakes the underhand feed, now to Marsh. Back to the point. Bowie, he's got a man behind the net circling. Johnson rips one. Did that catch a piece of the post?
Sure did.
Credit to me, good eyes. Huh?
Surprised you can see with all those holes in your mouth.
I was fighting for my life last night, Teddy. Here's Johnson. 2:15 to play in the first. Over to Wade, shot low, and a save by Abrams again.
That was a good look for Brody Wade, but Abrams just didn't really have to move much there. He cuts his angles off really well and was able to get the left toe on it.
And now Sherman Williams shoulders his way into the zone. Loose ball falls down to the turf. A couple of arrows in there with a few Shamrocks. Somehow they come up with it.
Don't take up interference here.
That's one of those little mistakes that, we've all kind of been talking about here. Game management a little bit. And now in a position where the arrows can essentially kill the rest of this penalty. And maybe hang on to possession depending on how they play this. Kettle will send it over to the far side. Amos Whitcomb sees a matchup that he likes. Working on McCulley. 5 to shoot. Now forced to the outside. Takes one. Off the mark, off the corner boards. Big rebound goes over center.
Probably one last chance here for the Shamrock power play if they want to go quick, but also got to be aware of the man coming out of the box.
I was just going to say, this might be some evidence of game management here depending on their shot selection. 5 seconds until 5-on-5 resumes. Now Lies. He's going to step into one right as Geddes comes out of the box. And here come the arrows now. Off to the races. Here goes Keane. One hand on his stick. Goes through. Oh my goodness. Almost tucked it home as he went airborne.
I don't even know what he tried to pull off. But when I get back to Victoria, I'm going to try it on an empty net. Because I don't think I've ever seen anybody try to do that. They literally jumped past their angle and past the net. And he tried to kind of throw a reverse backhander plus past Cody Cook. That was wild.
I have a good buddy of mine that I've grown up playing with my entire life. He calls, maybe not the jump, but the shot there, he calls that the reverse chop. So that's what I'm going to label that one. Shout out Brant Hicks.
Sure.
There's a slash as the game clock goes down to 20 seconds. Stevens collects. They're going to remain 5-on-5. Now Cook's going to head off. 14 seconds. No timeout to go here for the Shamrocks. They're just going to go. Johnson got Lies with room. Can't get a handle. He drops it. Empty not here for the arrows. If they want to go, do they realize the net is empty? There's the shot and a block. Last second. I believe that was Wade who got a piece of it. Frantic action on both sides as the seconds wind down.
I understood that he was open going down the middle of the floor. But if you're going to throw that and you're going to call for it, you better make it sure that you catch it, because that almost ended up in the back of their net.
And I think if the Arrows player had realized what was in front of him, we probably would have seen a shot earlier, but the head down sprint is a dangerous game to play in that scenario. 20 minutes have expired here from the Ladner Leisure Center. We still got 40 to go in this one, and then guess what? Another 60 to go in the late game that me and Jake will be on the call for. But 40 more to go in this one, and we're going to step aside for the next 10. You're watching the 2024 President's Cup.
Know your limits. CoolBet helps you control your gaming experience. Stay cool. Bet responsibly.
I think if I remember correctly. And a dunk attempt from behind, and that one's gonna go James Ray. It's a shot from distance, and it's over the goal line. Looking for a lane. It's his hand free and scores. Ryan Manesh. It's like he heard us talk about him. Connor Lies back into the fray.
Either way, Six Nations ball.
Tie the game, they get the pick and roll, and they find it. Evans getting a rough ride here. Now numbers here for the Sioux. Shatler, Evans with a shot and a goal. Sean Evans muscling through with a shovel shot, and they score again. Six Nations with an opportunity to tie this game as Durston feeds to the middle, gets it back, and scores. Numbers ever as Dixon goes on a 2-on-1 over to Shatler, and that's going to count. Back. Spins underneath again. Spins one more time for good measure. Gets a shot off and scores.
Flip it for Bowhunter. Sean Lentz with a breakaway. Scores!
We've had great fans. It's been really motivating for our guys.
We want to put on a good product on the floor for the fans that are going to come here and spend their hard-earned money.
And as Martel slips it 5-hole. And his ball again down the middle. How did he hang on to that? Scores! Keegan Ball!
It's what they did in that room that turned the season around. I don't think we make that run without the support of the fans.
Here's Sean Beatties! And he scores!
Embrace the unexpected. CoolBet.
I think if I remember correctly. And a dunk attempt from behind, and that one's going to go James Ray. It's a shot from distance, and it's over the goal line. Looking for a lane. It's his hand free and scores. Ryan Manesh. It's like he heard us talk about him. Connor Lies back into the fray.
Either way, Six Nations ball.
Tie the game, they get the pick and roll, and they find it. Evans getting a rough ride here. Now numbers here for the Sioux. Shatler, Evans with a shot and a goal. Sean Evans muscling through with a shovel shot, and they score again. Six Nations with an opportunity to tie this game as Durston feeds to the middle, gets it back, and scores. Numbers ever as Dixon goes on a 2-on-1 over to Shatler, and that's going to count. Back. Spins underneath again. Spins one more time for good measure. Gets a shot off and scores.
Flip it for Bowhunter. Sean Lentz with a breakaway. Scores!
Know your limits. CoolBet helps you control your gaming experience. Stay cool. Bet responsibly.
We've had great fans. It's been really motivating for our guys.
We want to put on a good product on the floor for the fans that are going to come here and spend their hard-earned money.
And as Martel slips it 5-hole. And his ball again down the middle. How did he hang on to that? Scores! Keegan Ball!
It's what they did in that room that turned the season around. I don't think we make that run without the support of the fans.
Here's Sean Beatties! And he scores!
I think if I remember correctly. And a dunk attempt from behind, and that one's going to go James Ray. It's a shot from distance, and it's over the goal line. free and scores. Ryan Madesh. It's like he heard us talk about him. Connor Lyes back into the fray.
Either way, Six Nations ball.
Tie the game, they get the pick and roll, and they find it. Evans getting a rough ride here. Now numbers here for the Sioux. Shatler, Evans with a shot and a goal. Sean Evans muscling through with a shovel shot, and they score again. Six Nations with an opportunity to tie this game as Durston feeds to the middle, gets it back, and scores. Numbers ever as Dixon goes on a 2-on-1 over to Shatler, and that's going to count. Back. Spins underneath again. Spins one more time for good measure. Gets a shot off and scores.
Whip it for Bowhunter. Sean Lentz with a breakaway. Scores!
I wanted you to turn the mic on and for that to go on.
You did. I know.
You're missing the, everybody, welcome back to the broadcast.
The dulcet tones of Teddy Jenner.
Correct. Doing a little karaoke here in the booth. Sum 41. You know, I was saying to our cameraman extraordinaire, George Parra, yesterday that I think they're kind of repeating the same playlist, not every day, but quite literally every game.
Yeah.
You know, so we're oftentimes hearing the same songs. Whenever Sum 41 comes on, I'm pretty happy in that case. You know,
Yeah, I know you are.
There's a few songs that I would love to take off the playlist. You know, I don't necessarily want to hear Hey There Delilah again this week.
The one that almost put Jumbo to sleep last night.
The one that I think it almost put George to sleep too. But Sum 41 I'm here for. Let's tell the people about CoolBet. Hey, Teddy?
Let's do it.
The official sportsbook of the 2024 President's Cup. Dive into the action today with the best odds in lacrosse. CoolBet. Stay cool.
Bet responsibly.
There it is. There it is.
Shots after the first 20, 19-16 in favor of Allegany. They got a 2-goal lead, Tino. And, you know, without three of their top offensive producers, I think Billy D. Smith will be pretty happy with his group. And conversely, I think Tim Dennett and Tyson Lyles will be fairly happy with their performance. Obviously, again, some things they continually need to clean up. But, you know, still a young team making the most out of a situation like this, getting their opportunities, getting chances, and making memories that will last a lifetime.
Yeah, and just going back to the end of the first period, I mean, this situation could be completely different. It's 4-2, as you just mentioned, in favor of the Arrows. I mean, the Shamrocks had a great opportunity to cut the lead down to 1 with their final play, and as they turned it over, the Arrows had an opportunity into the empty net that they, you know, didn't get on target thanks to a block courtesy of Brody Wade. This could have been
saving a beauty.
Stick saving a beauty by the defender. And all of a sudden, this one could have been a 3-goal advantage for the Arrows. Instead, it remains 2, and we are Back to the action, and now an opportunity right off the bat here for the Shamrocks as Christensen, a twister, scores! 13 seconds in, Victoria cuts the lead.
Zach Christensen with his first of the tourney. And to get that one 13 seconds in, you know, we kind of always say, remember that play. Well, remember that play at the end of the period, as now Shamrocks are within one, and this is a great handle by Zach Christensen. And then just a little reaching twister eludes Goa Abrams between the wickets.
Yeah, not a lot of room there available. Almost no angle, and just kind of creates one by, you know, contorting his body a little bit. Those twisters, you know, some of these guys make them look so easy, but, you know, to do it on the run when you're running out of space, it's difficult. Now Benson runs into a teammate.
Yeah, both Benson and McCulley won that one. They had ideas of ripping it, and they just ended up colliding into each other.
And they'll both go back for a defensive shift now. McCulley goes right at Kettle. Kettle keeps it, has some room. Benson closes the gap. Kettle shot blocked. Might have been some friendly fire there.
Oh, they're going to say it went off say it didn't go off of a Shamrock.
Yeah, I believe that hit a cutter in the middle. So Benson takes it back for the Shamrocks. He'll dish and head off for a change. There's Kyle Drouin. Little head fake. Absorbs some slashes. Gets over to the far side. His pass was deflected, and the Arrows will take it back. Lob feed goes up to Whitcomb. Amos Whitcomb, that is.
And I think we might see some of these Allegany Arrow players play a little two-way action here in the second period. It's a long change for the defense, so if you're a right-hander, then you can get back on D to stop transition. That's what you should be doing.
As Kobe Whitcomb sent it behind the net, he had thoughts of a dunk for a teammate waiting for it. Pass was off the mark, and Lane Smith back out onto the floor as well. That's a welcome sight after he was a little bit shaken up after his goal in the first period.
Yeah, the one advantage Victoria sort of had against most of these teams in this tournament is their young legs and being able to get up the floor as Jack Bowie gets a rough ride. They got to start to find that transition game here in the second period.
Now Williams down low. Do they want to hit Gill? No, he'll head off. And he's looked good in his return to the lineup since an injury in game number one that you talked about off the top.
Yeah, and that's a good sign for them moving forward in this tournament over the next couple days.
Here's Kobe. Delayed call now coming up against Victoria. Block shot from Christensen. That'll go high towards the corner. 3 to shoot from distance. That'll go wide off the end boards, and that will send the Arrows to the power play.
Not sure what the call is here on Dylan Raymond. Maybe a roughing call or a little cross check. But he's having words with Herbie John. Says he doesn't like it.
I wonder if it's a hold because looks like he's motioning. Oh, roughing. Looked like he was motioning towards or trying to essentially insinuate that his stick was being held underneath of a member of the Arrows.
I think he was
arms.
saying that, but I think Herbie John says that doesn't mean you can't punch him.
Feels like a golden rule.
Yeah.
Whitcomb to the outside. Becker, sidearm shot, scores.
That's a nice shot from Josh Becker. What'd that take? 12 seconds? 12 seconds.
12 seconds exactly.
And just a quick little back and forth between Becker and Whitcomb, and then he goes far side right above the right toe of Cody Cook as he kind of just goes through the motions, resetting and reliving that shot. And that's a great look from behind the net cam. That shot from Becker, he's now got 4, only came in with 2, so he's doubled his goal total.
And by my count, his second of the game as well.
That's why his goal total is doubled.
There you go.
I know maths is hard. Good work on that loose ball by Wade, but pressured by Allegany to cause the turnover.
As Kobe Whitcomb looks for a lane.
I can't quite remember, but this might be the first game that all 3 Whitcombs have been in the lineup.
Yeah, I feel like we would have made mention about it at some point earlier in the tournament, had that been the case, and I just don't think we have. Is Keon Whitcomb getting a real rough ride in the corner, had some hands in his face, no call. And And David Byrne, I mean, speaking of guys that were shaken up, he was very gingerly going to the bench a couple of times in the first period, and he has a good sprint up the floor. Now Marsh to Boyd, and a kick stop by Abrams.
Yeah.
Boyd digging for it as well.
That's a great save from Goa as Boyd found the lane. Was wise not to turn the corner because probably would have gotten sandwiched between a few defensemen. Decided to take the shot, and Goa continues the stellar play. 15 saves on 18 shots. Cook, 15 saves on 20 shots.
More math out of you, Teddy.
I'm an expert, man.
Flexing your brain muscles. Fallen arrow. Back to his feet. There's Amos Whitcomb. Now Kobe Whitcomb. And all three of them have found the back of the net.
And now some extracurriculars afterwards. And that's, so Keon got his first of the tournament. Now Kobe's got his first. As we see the shot that eludes Cody Cook, and then can't see who the Shamrock is. I think that's Greg Simpson. And then Amos Whitcomb comes over to help out Kobe, and I'm not sure the age relation between the three, or even if they are all brothers, they could be cousins. There's got to be some relation. If you know, at Teddy Jenner, at Ferratino. But, you know, you're always going to stick up for your player, even more so when they got the same last name as you. But unfortunately, it'll put Victoria on the power play here, down 3.
Did you and Freddie ever get a chance to play together?
Field lacrosse, and then we played one season together. He didn't play. He played sparingly in 01, then we played together in 02.
Now Marsh to the middle, and they score! Chalk one up for Wade, and a good answer back for the Shamrocks.
We talk about players having sort of breakout tournaments and putting sort of their name out there. Brody Wade is one of those players for the Victoria Shamrocks who's had an outstanding tournament. That's now 11 goals for him. He wasn't sort of the high-profile player for the Victoria Junior Shamrocks with the amount of talent they had, but he was always the guy that always impressed coaches with his hard work, his leadership, his determination, and he's been that way all tournament long here for Victoria. He's been their best offensive player. He's been the guy that's gone relentlessly into the corners. He's been taking a beating from the likes of Rory Smith and Brett Craig, and go on down the list of other big defenders in this tournament. And he just keeps coming back for more every shift.
Now Xavier Taylor and Matt Hermson battling amongst some others, and they'll say possession Victoria.
Good battle there from Hermson. Another guy that just grinds.
Did you or Freddie ever like, did anyone have to stick up for each other? Was there ever any fights?
No, not really. My brother could handle himself, and I never even got myself near a fight. The only few fights I've been in, I always wore a punch and hit the ground.
Not a great strategy.
Oh, it is great because you only take one. Oh, there's a big chop as Clark Pickup's got the wood stick out for the Shamrocks.
And save. Cody Cook sends that one to the corner on a rebound. Lobbed pass. And that'll go all the way down the floor to Dylan Raymond.
And he tried to bat it back for Greg Simpson. Then Greg Simpson tried to bat it back to Dylan Raymond. And it was Leo Sturos who came away with it. Now he's on the limp.
Off to the bench. He will go, joined by some teammates, with his team going back into the offensive zone now, and everybody getting a touch here early. Kobe Whitcomb.
Oh. That was a high hit. Not sure who that was. Liam Keane, maybe.
On
Watch
David
him
Byrne.
set this pick here, and that's a high elbow. Well, they're going to call a legal cross-check, but 5 minutes nonetheless, and David Byrne looks like he's going to be okay. I think Keane tried to knock his mustache off.
And now a massive opportunity here for Victoria, down by 2. You know, a close game here and an opportunity on the power play on a major. And that bruise to David Byrne would likely feel a lot better if his team can get him a couple goals here. We'll see what Parker Johnson can cook up. Boyd's going to step into one, ring iron, and Johnson's going to collect.
Good look there for Jackson Boyd.
Here's Bowie from the corner. Back to the outside. Boyd, Johnson, Marsh. Down low
on the crease.
And a shot stopped by the glove of Abrams. Another reset here for the Shamrocks. Johnson. Some tired penalty killers on the floor currently. Johnson, quick feed. Bowie, back to Johnson. Makes the backhand pass, takes the shot instead, and the rebound will go past a reaching Wade and all the way back over center.
Yeah, a couple good looks there for the Victoria power play. And the Allegany just kind of got caught lost in the rotation and left Brody Wade all alone, who needed to take an extra step to the middle of the floor. But go Abrams again with another strong save as Whitcomb takes a rough ride there from Zach Christensen.
As Amos and Keon both on the floor here. And you got to be careful from the Victoria perspective. Don't want to take a penalty here. You got an opportunity. Take advantage here as Hermson's getting a few whacks in on Lane Smith, who just sends one towards the corner before the shot clock expires.
Lane Smith just looked at Herbie Johnson. Are you going to call anything? Then Herbie's like, nope. But you're right, you know, that's the case in those situations where Victoria it was final 10 seconds of the shot clock. You don't need to do anything silly. You don't need to slash and whack. Just let the shot clock wind down.
Just contain him as the backhand skipper goes to the corner. Now to the near side. Boyd fires. Rebound available. Bowie couldn't clean it up.
And Bowie will draw a loose ball push. Take a chop for his efforts.
And Boyd got another one after the whistle here as well. Cooler heads prevail for now at least. Johnson. And Wade sends that bid wide. And that'll go cleanly out of play. And Boyd, I got to imagine if he could have just reached for that one, he might have saved a possession. But now George is going to give him right back as that one goes high out of his stick. He checks his shooters.
Roger Weiss tried to catch that one midair. Lost some of his hops.
And Victoria now will take it back.
Like to see a couple good-looking set plays here in Victoria. Last time, just passing it around the outside, only one seal. Let's see some multiple, some double ups, some scissors. Now here comes Bowie, and then Wade.
Now back to the point for Johnson. Over to Wade again, near side. Boyd with a shot and a stick save by Abrams. And he's looked good in this period. An early goal from Victoria, but he has stood the test of time at the very least to this point. And now the penalty clock down to 2.5 minutes.
So some information coming in on the social media hotlines. Kobe and Amos are brothers, and we believe that Keon is a cousin, and too many men here coming up on Allegany, so an extended 5-on-3 for Victoria.
The opportunity grows and remains the same in importance. A two-man advantage and 2:21 remaining on the original penalty here to Liam Keane. Now, this latest illegal substitution is going to be served by Leo Sturos.
Well, now we're getting told that the Whitcombs are brothers. And Smokin' Tom, the goalie, thinks I would have hurt myself on that Liam Keane attempt.
What do you think?
Absolutely.
Down to the corner, Bowie denied by the arm.
Another big save there from Goa. Timely and pivotal. Now they're just going to have to get this one over. That's 8 seconds. And again, just good up-floor pressure. Now 3-on-2.
Boyd going to step into one himself. No movement there, and Abrams just steps over to his right. Victoria just can't buy a goal right now.
Yeah, just a little telegraph there from Jackson Boyd. Easily handled by Goa Abrams.
There's Darius Anderson, runs into a double team, starting to close the gap. Wade comes in to help. He's working with Christensen. Shot clock down to 13. Ball is loose. Wade will collect.
Gonna have a 2-on-1 if Wade can get up the floor.
Now they go. Turning into a 3-on-1. Wade down the middle to the near side. Bowie looking 5-hole, scores! There it is. And they will remain on the power play With 10:18 to play in the second period, the Shamrocks cut the lead down to 1.
And it should still be a 5-on-3 power play because that's one off the major. So Victoria can do an excellent job in not only getting back in this game, but trying to find a lead.
And I like that decision from Wade to feed Bowie, just based on the way things have gone, what we've seen from Victoria. I was kind of working under the assumption that he was just going to go down the lane and fire it himself. And I mean, Go is stopping those shots right now. If you're not going to make a move, and if he can see it, he's likely going to make the save. So even just that one pass to make him take a step was massive for Victoria to finally beat the Arrows goaltender again. And now they will go back to work. Still a two-man advantage. Christensen waiting near the center line as a safety man. Here's Bowie over to Johnson. Quickly down low. Shot from Wade off the mark. They'll get the loose ball. 3 to shoot. Bowie steps into one and a 6 save by Goa.
I got to put some pressure on here so they can't get over.
And they might do that as Becker is just going to dump this down to the corner. It got over in time, and Cook, leaping for it, collects.
2 guys all the way down the floor for Victoria.
Long feed. Now turns into a 3-on-2. Boyd wants the return pass. He gets the shot off from the far side. Parker Johnson stopped by the glove of Abrams. One penalty is out. Geddes rejoining. 15 seconds until Liam Keane. Excuse me, I said earlier that it was Leo Sturos in the box, but it was actually Geddes.
Yeah, Geddes was serving the bench minor for too many men. He's the in-home. And, you know, all in all, good job by the Allegany short man unit to only give up 1. That extended 5-on-3.
I think most coaches would count that as a win. I believe that we should have gotten to our immediate timeout there, but we'll wait for another whistle. 8:40 to play here in the second period. Marsh is going to send it down, and we're back to 5-a-side lacrosse here for the first time in a while. Lies driving low. Doesn't like what he sees. He'll circle back, send it over to Marsh, steps into a shot. High to low. Save, and they'll say no reset. Thought that went off of. Now they'll call for the reset. So a little late there, but Marsh will step into a shot, and all for nothing as it goes wide back over center.
Yeah, that's the way, you know, Victoria in that situation, they didn't realize that they got the reset, and you got to echo that through the floor, say, hey, we don't need to shoot that. So again, more information coming in the hotline. So we have confirmed that Kobe, Keon, and Amos are indeed brothers. Well, Rudy George, he's their uncle.
Oh. Well, how about that?
Family affair here for Allegany.
You ever got a chance to play on the same team as an uncle?
No. We were the only Jenners that ever played.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. So you guys kind of started a generation. Or not a generation, a movement.
No, literally a generation.
Oh.
Get it?
We got there. George likes it too. That's cameraman extraordinaire George Parr.
No, when our family moved to North Vancouver, I was just born, but our family lived next to a family who played lacrosse and hockey, so that's how my brother got into it. And then obviously I picked it up, and then my sister picked it up later on. And when she was in her late teens, played some field lacrosse. Never played ball, played field. But my mom and dad never played, never coached us. Mom was always the team manager. Dad was just always the avid fan. And then obviously Freddie's kids are all throughout the lacrosse world, and my sister Susan, her son Peter, is an excellent young goaltender coming up through the Poco minor system, and their daughter Megan is an outstanding dancer. So the Jenner lacrosse tree isn't very long, but it's talented.
It's dominant, I would say, as Whitcomb looking for Whitcomb. Ball falls
I
to
need
the
a
crease.
Whitcomb from Whitcomb and Whitcomb.
Yeah, give us that, or
we riot. I'll never forget playing in a Man Cup in Peterborough when all 3 Evans brothers were on the floor. The first time we played them in the Man Cup was 2004 in Peterborough, and Sean was still in junior, and the place went nuts when all 3 were on the floor, and we got the old Evans from Evans from Evans. And then the next year they came to Victoria, and all 3 Evans were in the penalty box at the same time. So we got a little revenge.
That sounds like I don't know, is that a nightmare as a broadcaster, or is that a dream, just having to remember one name? I don't know.
All three kind of had different statures and playing styles.
Now here's Christensen, couldn't get a handle, but he's got a man in front if he can get to him in time. And a good stick check by the back checker. I believe that's Kobe Whitcomb.
Yeah, nice work there by Kobe Whitcomb, and smart by Zach Christian not to throw it away.
Now Marsh will collect, looking for Boyd. Handcuffed him, takes it off the wall. 5 to shoot from the corner, far side, off the mark, looking for Parker Johnson. Now Jensen up the floor. Couple of Woodies on at the same time. His pickup using one now for Victoria, as you mentioned earlier.
Yeah, and I don't really like it. It's kind of asking for trouble. Victoria's on a team that's ever really used wood sticks. Can't use them in BC during the regular seasons in any league. It's just asking for trouble when a defender walks out there with a Woody.
There's a shot and a beautiful save by Cody Cook, getting the glove up.
And Cody's really settled in. And again, that's what we kind of talked about. Goaltenders for Victoria have often got off to slow starts, but once they get through the first 5-6 minutes, they settle in and really give their team a chance to settle into the game and start coming back.
And a very similar looking game to what we saw last night in the Victoria versus Ladner game.
Way more goals in this one, Tino. Burn up the floor.
And he wants it, and he's going to get it on a breakaway. A chance to tie it. Shoots and scores!
Great pass from Cody Cook. And David Byrne now has 5 out of the back end in the tournament. I don't have all the defenseman stats in this tournament, but he might be leading all defenders in points throughout this tournament.
Would not surprise me one bit.
And I think you might see him on one of the tournament all-star teams by the time this is all said and done.
The back checker almost caught him there. Internally, I was kind of screaming, speed up, shoot the ball.
I was waiting for him to let the D guy run past him, like he's done so many times in this tournament already.
The little backpedal move.
Yeah, a little emergency break.
Yeah. Now Marsh stumbles, shoots, blocked. And he'll apply some pressure here. A good stick check causes a yard sale, and a good decision to pull out and use some clock here.
Talk with Casey Wilson of the Victoria Senior Shamrocks, who's here in town watching this game, and he was laughing at the breakaway that Byrne had, where he had Sean Evans chasing him from behind, threw on the brakes, Evie ran by him, Byrne scored, then tapped Evie on the back and said, hey, nice chase down, nice try.
Glad to see some of these guys are watching and paying attention. It's Boyd, skip feed to the far side. Mace through the middle. Bowie couldn't get a handle.
That one hit Herbie John, the official. That one stung him. No padding on the officials. Victoria's got to get back on D here. Numbers for Allegany.
As Whitcomb narrowly misses that top left corner. Now Kobe Whitcomb working with Amos. All 3 of them are on the floor currently. Smith sends it to their side. Here's Kobe. Down low, Keon looking through. He's going to send it back over to the lefties. Smith. Amos has it. Another rising one falls into the crest of Cook. And a long lobbing feed looking for Byrne. And man, watching him run, he is, to say he's not at full strength would be an understatement here. Just watching him, I mean, trying to force his way through the limp.
That's just, that's what this tournament's all about. It's about gritting your teeth through the pain, making plays, and we've seen that from everybody in this tournament across all 7 teams.
Now Drouin will grab the loose ball, gets a couple of whacks, drops the ball, and he'll head off for a change. He looks like he's grabbing it. I believe it was his left hand, and he's actually going to go down the tunnel or get some repairs at the very least. There's Anderson from behind the net over to the far side. They'll slow things down.
Anderson took a bit of a chop too, heading off the floor. It's day 5. These guys have seen it all and felt it all.
No question about it. It's Keon Whitcomb with a sharp angle shot, and Cook makes the save. Bounce pass in transition to Benson if he can get a handle. And what do we got here? An illegal substitution will go against the Shamrocks. And a chance now for the Arrows to go back in front.
I know I'm often called a Victoria homer by some people, but I don't think that was too many men.
Well, the officials disagree.
Well, Herbie gave me a shirt today, so I'll let it go. So I gave him a Shamrock golf shirt. He said to me when he goes back to Six Nations for one of the Man Cup games, he's going to wear that. I said, damn right you are, Herbie.
That feels dangerous.
Oh, absolutely. Enemy territory, we're wearing the clover. Going to need all the help we can get back there.
Behind enemy lines as Whitcomb, Amos at the shooter position, up top to Becker. He scored on the power play earlier in this game. There's another rising subber from Amos Whitcomb. He likes those low to high. And he might get another chance, the one-timer high to high, that time off the shoulder of Cook. David Byrne will collect from his own crease.
2:40 remaining here in the second period, 6-6. Shots now 32-29 in favor of Victoria, but they got some time to kill on the power play.
Now here's David Byrne, and he is going to do exactly that, killing some clock. He'll dish over to Stevens and head off for a change. Boyd waiting near center as the shot clock counting down, and Boyd will just lob this down to the corner.
Good kill of 30 seconds there by the Shamrocks.
Now halfway through their penalty kill. It's Lane Smith back out onto the turf. Amos and Kobe will join. 2 of the 3 Whitcombs on the floor. Amos to the point. Kobe through the middle. Smith, one hand on his stick, reaching for it. Couldn't get a handle. Now he'll head off for a change. Looking a little slow, I guess, as we'll go, and not just in terms of his speed. Talking about how, like, I don't know, it looks a little bit shaken up, I would say, after that. As everybody is by this point. Bowie, 10 to shoot. Double team closing in. Decides he wants to split. Gets through. On top of the crease and just misses. What a chance. And Bowie almost had a highlight reel tally. Instead, the arrows are going to go, and Smith looks all right as he's right back out on the floor for power play duty.
Just a couple seconds remaining on the bench minor, served by Connor Lies.
And look out here as that shot was wide. Lies going to head off and replaced by McCulley here. Now a shot and a low save by Cook. Christensen was reaching for it, not going to get it. Arrows get a reset. Final minute of play here in the second period. A fast-moving second, if I could say. Shot goes just wide. And Keon over to Kobe. Now Becker spins back, one hand on his stick. Back to Kobe. Skip feed down to the corner. Backhand shot wide. Clock goes down under 40 seconds. Shot clock under 5. Going through. Shot and a save. Big collision. And no Victoria player wants to pick it up. Get the clock under 30. Do they want to call timeout here? Yes, they do. So we've been talking this entire week from the Victoria standpoint about some of their play calls. You know, maybe we'll say some questionable decisions. If you're the coaching staff now for the Shamrocks, you've gotten your timeout. You're likely going to pull the goalie. Cook is going to start on the bench, and you're going to go 6-on-5. What's the play you're drawing up here for the offense, and who is the trigger man?
I think I like setting up a play here for Brody Wade, slicing through the middle off a couple seal picks, skip the ball to the behind, get the defense turn their heads, and have Brody kind of slash. But if that pass isn't there, you got a backside look up to a Parker Johnson, have Bowie on the crease for an extra one-timer. So I'm going 6-on-5. I'll put a guy behind and just kind of wait here, let the clock wind down, and just make sure you're not taking that shot with any more than 3 seconds left.
So they got Wade, Boyd, Lies, Drouin, Johnson, and Marsh as your 6 attackers here for the Shamrocks. And Boyd is going to start things off on his own side of center. 26.2 seconds. Shots almost dead even. 32-31.
I wouldn't hate maybe setting up a double high seal for a big outside shot from Connor Lies either.
Wade not even looking towards the play as they now go down to 10, and now they want to start their motion. Wade and Boyd draw some space over to Marsh as the lane shoots into the chest, and does Abrams want to go for it? He had some time. He'll lob it. Byrne was sprinting.
As best he can.
Even in that effort. And just to be honest here, I mean, it didn't really look like that ball was had a real chance.
Yeah.
But David Byrne didn't even want to give it a glimmer of hope. He was still going full bore towards to pick up that loose ball.
Yeah, that's a great period for the Victoria Shamrocks. They were down after one, and they battled their way back, and they're even level going into the final 20 minutes of their first ever President's Cup.
And much like last night, they will head towards the final frame with an opportunity to grab their first win of the President's Cup. We're going to step aside, though, for the time being. Teddy Jenner, Tino Farah, cameraman extraordinaire George Parra, BC Sports TV. We're going to be back in 10 minutes' time for the third period.
Know your limits. CoolBet helps you control your gaming experience. Stay cool. Bet responsibly.
I think if I remember correctly. And a dunk attempt from behind, and that one's going to go James Ray. It's a shot from distance, and it's over the goal line. Looking for a lane. It's his hand free and scores. Ryan Manesh finds it. It's like he heard us talk about him. Connor Lies back into the fray.
Either way, Six Nations ball.
Tie the game, they get the pick and roll, and they find it. Evans getting a rough ride here. Now numbers here for the Sioux. Shatler, Evans with a shot and a goal. Sean Evans muscling through with a shovel shot, and they score again. Six Nations with an opportunity to tie this game as Durston feeds to the middle, gets it back, and scores. Numbers ever as Dixon goes on a 2-on-1 over to Shatler, and that's going to count. Goes back. Spins underneath again. Spins one more time for good measure. Gets a shot off and scores.
Whip it for Bowhunter. Sean Lentz with a breakaway. Scores!
We've had great fans. It's been really motivating for our guys.
We want to put on a good product on the floor for the fans that are going to come here and spend their hard-earned money.
And as Martel slips it 5-hole. And his ball again down the middle. How did he hang on to that? Scores! Keegan Ball!
It's what they did in that room that turned the season around. I don't think we make that run with all the support of the fans.
Here's Sean Beatties! And he scores!
Embrace the unexpected. CoolBet.
I think if I remember correctly. And a dunk attempt from behind, and that one's going to go James Ray. It's a shot from distance, and it's over the goal line. Looking for a lane. It's his hand free and scores. Ryan Manesh finds it. It's like he heard us talk about him. Connor Lies back into the fray.
Either way, Six Nations ball.
Tie the game, they get the pick and roll, and they find it. Evans getting a rough ride here. Now numbers here for the Sioux. Shatler, Evans with a shot and a goal. Sean Evans muscling through with a shovel shot, and they score again. Six Nations with an opportunity to tie this game as Durston feeds to the middle, gets it back, and scores. Numbers ever as Dixon goes on a 2-on-1 over to Shatler, and that's going to count. Goes back. Spins underneath again. Spins one more time for good measure. Gets a shot off and scores.
Whip it for Bowhunter. Sean Lentz with a breakaway. Scores!
Know your limits. Coolbet helps you control your gaming experience. Stay cool. Bet responsibly.
We've had great fans. It's been really motivating for our guys.
We want to put on a good product on the floor for the fans that are going to come here and spend their hard-earned money.
And as Martel slips it 5-hole. And his ball again down the middle. How did he hang on to that? Scores! Keegan Ball!
It's what they did in that room that turned the season around. I don't think we make that run without the support of the fans.
Here's Sean Beatties! And he scores!
If I remember correctly. And a dunk attempt from behind, and that one's gonna go James Ray. It's a shot from distance, and it's over the goal line. Looking for a lane. It's his hand free and scores. Ryan Manesh. It's like he heard us talk about him. Connor Lies back into the fray.
Either way, Six Nations ball.
Tie the game, they get the pick and roll, and they find it. Evans getting a rough ride here. Now numbers here for the Sioux. Shatler, Evans with a shot and a goal. Sean Evans muscling through with a shovel shot, and they score again. Six Nations with an opportunity to tie this game as Durston feeds to the middle, gets it back, and scores. Numbers ever as Dixon goes on a 2-on-1 over to Shatler, and that's going to count. Back. Spins underneath again. Spins one more time for good measure. Gets a shot off and scores.
Whip it for Bowhunter. Sean Lentz with a breakaway. Scores!
Know your limits. Coolbet helps you control your gaming experience. Stay cool. Bet responsibly.
If I remember correctly. And a dunk attempt from behind, and that one's going to go James Ray. It's a shot from distance, and it's over the goal line. Looking for a lane. It's his hand free and scores. Ryan Manesh. It's like he heard us talk about him. Connor Lies back into the fray.
Either way, Six Nations ball.
Tie the game, they get the pick and roll, and they find it. Evans getting a rough ride here. Now numbers here for the Sioux. Shatler, Evans with a shot and a goal. Sean Evans muscling through with a shovel shot, and they score again. Six Nations with an opportunity to tie this game as Durston feeds to the middle, gets it back, and scores. Numbers ever as Dixon goes on a 2-on-1 over to Shatler, and that's going to count. Back. Spins underneath again. Spins one more time for good measure. Gets a shot off and scores.
Whip it for Bowhunter. Sean Lentz with a breakaway. Scores!
We've had great fans. It's been really motivating for our guys.
We want to put on a good product on the floor for the fans that are going to come here and spend their hard-earned money.
And as Martel slips it 5-hole. And his ball again down the middle. How did he hang on to that? Scores! Keegan Ball!
It's what they did in that room that turned the season around. I don't think we make that run without the support of the fans.
Here's Sean Beatties! And he scores!
Embrace the unexpected. Coolbet.
Little Offspring on the playlist this time here, Teddy.
Don't hate it. Can I tell you a funny story?
I'd love to hear a funny story.
My brother's wedding, I was the best man. You know, at weddings, you obviously know weddings.
Thank you
It's
so much.
the world famous wedding DJ. We would introduce each person to the wedding party. They got to pick their own song kind of thing. So all my brother's groomsmen were all Shamrock guys and cousins. So they came out to Blur 2.
Yeah.
The woohoo! That song, because that was a Shamrock song at the time. I came out to Offspring, Pretty Fly for a White Guy.
Yeah, that feels fitting. Me and Jen had to obviously enter together, but I got to pick the song for my groomsmen to enter, and I chose Timber, Mr. Worldwide and Kesha. If there's one song that will bring me to the dance floor, it is Timber.
All right. How about some lacrosse? That get you to the dance floor?
Yeah. Well, I mean, after the lacrosse, of course.
Win a period, win a game for the Victoria Shamrocks here to close out their President's Cup.
And win a period, win a game for the Arrows, and they may lock in first place depending on some results later on as well. There's a shot by Kettle, and there's a start for the Arrows 28 seconds in.
Every period in this game, we've had a quick goal. And Billy D. Smith on the Arrows bench, up and down his charges, and a little high five to a fan behind the glass as well. And not a great start for Victoria, but they've shown the ability to claw back every single time. And they do it one more time here at the 24 Prez.
And the hill just got a little bit of an incline for the Shamrocks if they want to earn their first win of the Prezi in their final game of the Prezi. Here is David Byrne, spins away. Head up, waiting for some guys to join the fray, and Connor Lyes is the first, so ball gets sent over to him halfway through the shot clock. Down by one, Lyes backing away from the corner, Boyd to Mace, shot stopped by Abrams. And maybe an 8-second count here, depending. Frank Brown's got to get over center. He does with just a second to spare.
Yeah, got to see a lot of pressure from Victoria here in this period. Just leave it all out on the floor. There is no tomorrow. This is the end of your season. So just give it everything you got for another 18-plus minutes.
And Zach Christensen, one of those guys who has been doing exactly that, a leader for the Shamrocks team. That's why he wears the C. Now Parker Johnson. Far side feed. Bowie. He's had a couple chances in this game, looking for another one, working on Leo Sturos. One hand on his stick. He's going to draw a penalty. Sturos doesn't like it. But he's going to make a march to the sin bin, and an opportunity for the Shamrocks, who have been a little bit snake-bitten on the power play. They do have a goal in this game. Is it just one on the power play?
Two.
Two on the power play.
We got another question coming in on the President's Cup inbox.
Okay.
Start, bench, cut.
Ooh.
Timber,
Oh.
Sandstorm, Levels.
Oh, you know what? I'm going to make some of our Flash faithful a little bit of upset here because I'm going to cut Levels.
Yeah, I'm cutting your mic.
I'll finish the rest of that list in a moment because we do have a power play for the Shamrocks to go through. Johnson over to the far side. Shot by Bowie. Might have caught a piece of the iron, and a big ricochet goes back into the Victoria bench. They should keep possession. What are my other options?
Sandstorm and Timber.
Yeah, that's right. What are my options of things to do with them?
Start, bench, cut.
Start, bench, cut. Okay.
So start or bench.
There's a shot by Wade. I am starting Timber.
You would.
Yeah, I would. And I'm going to bench, but save for later, Sandstorm, the 10-hour edition. It does not get old. Sorry, Austin Owens. Sorry, Pat Gregoire. And now Marsh. Pass through the middle. Bowie scores!
Jack Bowie's having himself a game. He was the one that drew the penalty on Leo Sturos. That's his second of the game. Another power play goal for the Shamrocks to tie it up. And they just won't go away. This has been their MO all tournament long. And they will just stay with it.
I I was correct in assuming that Austin Owens would be upset with my start, bench, and cut.
It
roster.
was his question.
Sorry, Audie. And we're back to square.
I think it's going to be this way the rest of this period, back and forth between these two clubs. And you mentioned Allegany wanting that #1 seed, so they're going to have to continue to press here as well. Got a man open on the backside.
And they find him in time. It's Benson, and a lone stop by Abrams. Huge save for the Allegany netminder, and some more sloppy play for the Arrows. Benson might get another chance here as he gets the feed, gets the shot, and where is it? It's in! Benson scores and gives Victoria the lead.
And this is just the no-quit attitude of Tim Dennett and Terry Ly's Victoria Shamrocks club, wearing those beautiful black and green jerseys. It starts with Benson on the backtrack causing the turnover, and then a nice up-floor feed from Ari Stevens, and it just goes over the line, and it's 8-7 Victoria.
It is a game of inches, and that is an example right there as Abrams got a piece of it, but it was not enough, and a lucky break for Jeremy Benson, who got a chance to right his wrongs from a moment ago.
Yeah, it was going to be a little hypercritical of him on the first opportunity by not stepping across the net.
Now here's Mace, tries to go with that reach move again like you talked about in the first, but Abrams takes it away. Now Amos Whitcomb runs away from Wade. He'll now leave for some help coming in, or he fakes the drop to Kettle. Now over to Kobe Whitcomb. Gets a pick set from Amos, who takes the shot. There's that rising subber again. That goes off the end boards and into the rafters. And Amos is going to go after the penalty box here after he threw away the stick of pickup.
And that's just, he took a late shot from pickup after his shot, and he wasn't too pleased, and as he was getting up, just chucked his stick away. An easy call for the officials, 2-minute unsportsmanlike, so another opportunity here in the power play for Victoria.
And I mentioned earlier about how the opportunity growing in importance for the Shamrocks here. How big would this be for them to take a 2-goal advantage? How many times in this tournament have they been in front? How many times have they had a lead of multiple goals? And this could be exactly that, as Bowie on the hunt for his hat-trick goal. Boyd will grab the Lucy. 10 seconds remaining on the shot clock. Shot, Johnson into the crest, and Abrams will look up.
I need a better shot from Parker Johnson from the center of the floor. It's too easy for Go Abrams.
Yeah, again, if he can see it, he's going to stop it. And George has a lane, fakes the shovel feed. Now he'll retreat to the perimeter. 15 through the shot clock.
As we found out, Rudy George, the uncle of the 3 Amos brothers.
And he'll leave for Becker near side. Now 5 to shoot. Becker leaves, draws a penalty, and Cook gets an elbow up, sends it out of play. And another example of why you just keep your feet moving. You will draw a penalty more often than not.
Yeah, as soon as young players, as soon as you feel your defender's stick wrapped around you, just run into him, create or close that space, and it's almost impossible for him to not get a holding call. So a good job there by Becker.
I had to laugh there a little bit because Ari Stevens was going to share his thoughts with the official, who then just turned away, and the reaction of Ari Stevens was just so deflated.
Tried to plead his case and was talking to a wall.
Correct. Lane Smith now tries to tie this game for the Arrows. Using his size, leaving the ball for Kettle, jumps across, and a great save, although not necessary for Cook because Kettle stepped through the crease. Now Smith is going to apply some pressure here. David Byrne lobs it over top of him, no problem.
You're just standing there as Lane Smith was right on top of the ball. Say, hey man, you got to back up. I'm not picking it up until you do. And he's just one of those guys that talk about a lot, just always has a smile on his face, and that infuriates players because you're like, stop it, stop smiling.
Stop being so darn happy in my face.
I just chopped you. Stop it.
Here comes Geddes.
And this Allegany team starting to see more and more guys slowly working their way off the floor, just starting to feel the rigors of this tournament.
Becker watched on, 15 seconds through the shot clock, 12 seconds until the Arrows will go to the power plays. Becker finds some room, trying to muscle his way, a shovel shot blind behind his back. That one wide. Now a chance for Victoria. If they can take it, they can. It's Benson again. He's got two defenders closing the gap. Benson stopped by Goa Abrams, and a big rebound goes towards the middle of the floor. Benson's going to chase it down, or at least try to again. What an effort this period by Jeremy Benson.
And wise not to take a penalty with a chop to Amos Whitcomb, who was on the ground.
Some of that game management a little bit. Maybe would have seen a different result earlier in this tournament from Victoria. But they'll remain down a man as there's a shot by Smith and a glove save by Cook. Loose ball collected by the Arrows. And we got a delayed call. Yes, we do. Victoria going to be down a man here in a second. There's a save by Cook, and that one caught a piece of the post as well. Let's see if we can get another look at that one.
And Victoria's going to find themselves down 2 men here for 6 seconds, so it won't be that egregious of a 5-on-3, but it's going to be David Byrne heading off for holding the stick. And as you saw in that replay, the quick stick shot, Cook got a piece of it and ricocheted off the inside of the far post and just stayed out.
A huge save at that, and a huge loss for the Shamrocks as David Byrne does a little bit of everything for this team, and now he'll watch on nervously from afar.
Sorry, Stevens now gets out of the box, so it's 5-on-4 for a minute 40.
Becker steps into one. Another one goes off the shoulder of Cook. Every save becoming bigger and bigger for this Victoria goaltender, and will likely need to make another one here as Lane Smith takes it along the near side. Now Kobe to Becker. Back to Kobe. Backhand feed. Return to Becker. Takes a shot into the crest. Stevens going to chase it down. Christensen is up. Couldn't get it cleanly to him. He'll chase it down in front of his team's bench. And now he's going to lob it over to Stevens.
Stevens a little fresh. He was just in the penalty box, so he's might have some good speed here, shorthanded. And if he would have been able to flip that ball cleanly to Zach Christensen, Christensen would have been on a breakaway.
A rebound there for Drouin, but Abrams scoops it up.
Numbers up the floor here for Allegany if they want it, if they can get up the floor with Jensen.
And it looks like they can't, as Victoria good in their reverse transition, recovering to get back to their shorthanded unit. Power play back on now for the Arrows. Becker at quarterback. Smith to his right, feeds Becker at the point. Far side, there's Amos to Becker. 5 to shoot. Amos, fake shot. Becker now shoots and scores! How about that bounce?
I took a deflection. That's heartbreaking for the Shamrocks. They played it perfect. But Becker's shot, I think, deflects off the stick of Ari Stevens. No, who's that on the far side? I think that's Davis McCulley. Tipped off his stick, and Cook had come out to make the save, but couldn't react quickly enough to the spinning ball. And that's a big goal to tie us at 8 with 12 minutes to go. A power play goal for Allegany.
And now numbers for Victoria. Stevens with Burns. Stevens shoots, and does that go off of Abrams? Yes, it does, and out of play. And now Byrne knocked down by Rudy George. No call. There's no hard feelings there. Byrne back to his feet. George is going to... Is he going to go to the bench, or is he going to stay and play? He'll stay for a defensive shift. Now we see what the Shamrocks here are made of after giving up a tough goal there. How do you react to not allow that to be a backbreaker? Still a tie game with plenty of time remaining. Now 2-on-1 though for the Arrows. Anderson cross floor to Kobe, puts it wide.
Victoria's got to do a better job of getting off the floor, Tino. We're going to see this Allegany team start to press the situation, knowing what's at hand for them. And Victoria's just got to get off the floor. If you're late, sprint.
Yeah, empty the gas tank is essentially what you said earlier. Leave it all out on the floor because it is the last game of the season here for the Shamrocks. Lane Smith dives, shoots, goes through the crease. So shots are 45-39 in favor of the Shamrocks, who have possession back in the offensive zone. Wade up to Parker Johnson. Had a beautiful snipe on this end of the floor in the first period. Now Wade knocked off before he could get a handle on the ball. David Byrne first out the gate for a defensive shift here. And the Arrows are going to get a free clear. Amos over to Kettle. Kettle watched on by Ari Stevens. Gets a couple of whacks. Kettle still with it. Looks to the far side. Amos down low to Kobe. Skip feed through the middle, and there's a big collision there. Sort of a punch to the face. Oh, no. And this game was moving quickly. Not a lot of egregious plays or penalties, but that one tough for both sides here as we're going to take a look at it. A couple of the Whitcomb boys involved. Let's see what happened here. There's the first collision right there.
Oh,
and then Colby Whitcomb comes in to help out. I mean, let's take another look at this one while we got a break. I'm sure there's going to be some discussions.
Yeah, I think it's Greg Simpson who kind of takes the extra shot at Colby Whitcomb, and then, it was Amos Whitcomb, and Colby Whitcomb came over to get involved, and a lot of stuff started to break out. And good job by the officials to kind of get in there and not let this thing really boil over, but there's a couple big hits there. And we'll wait for the three-man crew. And just watch in the middle. There's the hit by Simpson, a little high, and then it's a follow-through right there that knocked Amos Whitcomb to the ground, and then Colby Whitcomb with a cross-check right to Simpson.
They're standing up for each other. The first hit was fine. You know, like a little high, but nothing egregious. The second one was just, I mean, hands in the face.
And then that's when Colby Whitcomb came over in defense of his brother.
And now a lengthy discussion going on between Zach Christensen and Sherman Williams with the official. And it looks like it's going to be Victoria possession, but we'll wait to see what the penalties are. Colby Whitcomb is being ejected from the game. And still waiting for the official announcement. It looks like the decision has been made. I don't know. I don't believe anything has been passed on to the scorekeepers yet. I can see trying to take notes diligently here, and I saw some arms go up in the air as to, you know, signal what are we doing?
Yeah. If you are watching at home, maybe this is your first game, or maybe you didn't watch the last game between Six Nations and Edmonton as this game moves along. These round-robin games can indeed end in a tie. And we already had one, kind of on track for another.
So Colby Whitcomb gets 5 minutes for high sticking.
And nothing for anybody on Victoria. So Shamrocks will have their second. Wait, we're playing 5-on-5 here.
Yeah, let's, something doesn't seem right here. So are they saying offsetting calls? But Colby Whitcomb got ejected.
He got 5 in a game for the high stick. So Geddes is in there serving the Whitcomb penalty. And the official just going to, again, talk this over.
I mean, we have some time, so let's take one more look at it here, shall we?
I don't know if... Here we go, the penalty's being announced.
See, I think that first one could have been a Victoria.
Yeah, okay, so they did give Greg Simpson a 5-minute major for illegal cross-check. And then they give Whitcomb a 5 and a game. So the 5s wash out, and Whitcomb just gets ejected.
Okay. That's why you're the expert. And we will go back to 5-on-5 lacrosse again. This was, the temperature was pretty mild, I would say, up until that point. That's the first time there's been really any animosity as Drouin took down 2 arrows.
How about this? And I don't know why I didn't maybe look into this earlier. I maybe never made the correlation. Sherman Williams, Zed Williams' brother.
Really? Are you making that up?
No, I just got it. I just got it on the direct info line.
Wow. Thank goodness for this direct info line. As Becker takes a couple of slashes. Shot clock under 10 seconds. Only 2 Whitcombs in the lineup now after Kobe was ejected. Kettle couldn't get a shot off in time. He'll leave possession, and that'll give us a media timeout.
Yeah, good job there by Kettle not to shoot that one after the whistle. Just so you know, you're getting roasted.
Yeah, I'm seeing it. I'm looking at my phone right now. Cutting levels is jailable.
Yeah.
I disagree, and I need to be clear here. There's only 3 options, and they're 3 great songs. We're cutting one really good song here.
You're cutting timber all day long.
Absolutely, I am not. Mr. Worldwide, are you kidding me?
He can beat it.
You don't know what you're talking about, Teddy.
So far in this game, shots 46-39, 8-8 tie, 46-39 in favor of Victoria. And I want to get this in before we forget. Cody Cook, the Shamrock goaltender, gave up the first shot he faced. He's been solid ever since. Is playing in his last game. He will be hanging up the pads after this one. And he's been a staple in the Victoria community for quite some time. He's done so much work for Senior B Lacrosse on the island. And thankfully he's getting one last chance to play here, and he's putting on a spectacular performance in the pipes. So hat tip to Cody Cook.
As they say, good Victoria boy.
Absolutely.
There's a loose ball pickup by Frank Brown, and he immediately got up limping halfway through his stride. That's a big loss for the Arrows, depending on how this shapes up. He leaps over the bench, and we'll get some attention from the trainer immediately. Play goes back the other way. Smith on his wrong side. He'll send over to the corner. It's Amos. Trying to muscle his way through, falling, shooting, and Cook makes a big stick save, and he'll quickly head up to David Byrne. Benson trying to clear some space, but ran into some traffic, so they will both head off for a change as Boyd takes the feed. Now Drouin. As reinforcements come in, pass over to Boyd and left it behind him, then stepped through the crease. That was a great look, though, and Boyd just could not get it on target.
Yeah, Jackson Boyd's had a nice game. He's got 1 goal, probably could have a couple more, but he's running into a hot goaltender at the other end and go Abrams.
And now Victoria's got to get this one over center quickly. Just a few more seconds to do so. Marsh waiting for it. Has a good feed all the way up the floor from Matt Hermsen. Now Marsh, 1 defender to beat. He'll skip one over to Bowie. Bowie stutters, shoots off the toe of Abrams. Loose ball collected. Boyd with it again, and a reset for Victoria as Mace gets the screen up high, looking for a shooting lane. Tried to pass one across the floor, blocked and taken away by Goa. Pass up to Sherman Williams.
It's going to be a fun final 7.5, Tino. Jake Elliott jokingly said, can the next 2 games end in a tie just for the chaos factor? Kind of getting there.
Well, here we are. Still plenty of time remaining, but certainly a possibility as Becker goes over top, but that'll be chin strap. If I can read your hand motions there, Teddy. As Byrne thought about the stutter move, gets a shot following a swim. And that'll go off the end boards and into the scorekeeper's box. A little souvenir for them.
Well, we'll just give it back to the referees, Tino.
Oh.
Oh, by the way, big fan of Austin Maybe. Wears glasses while he plays.
Oh,
That was me as a kid.
I was going to say that has to have been you. You had the big...
I had the rec specs.
Yeah, you did. Maybe the biggest frames that have ever existed.
Yeah,
Certainly in the running.
I was a super nerd as a kid.
Still are, though. 5 seconds.
Smart here by Victoria not to take an interference call on the loose ball in the corner.
And Benson shoves Keon Whitcomb. Gets onto the bench. Cooler heads prevail in this case, and the Shamrocks get over center. Here's Jackson Boyd. Slows up, waits for some help. Brody Wade, watched on currently by Doris Anderson. Gives him a good whack. Wade has space, had a lane to the net, sends it over to Connor Lies instead. Flip pass, Boyd, stopped by Goa. That's a big save, down to 6 minutes remaining here in the third.
Another great chance for Jackson Boyd. Just can't find that second one of the night.
You can feel one coming, and he has possession again. Steps into one, and that one will be swallowed by Abrams as he just kind of lets that fall into his cuff and leaves for a defender.
Yeah, go ahead, a 9-10 save percentage coming in with a 6.0 goals against. Craig Seneca was an 850 save percentage and an 8.57 goals against. And Chase Martin up 80.4% save percentage and 9 goals against. All three goalies have been outstanding for Allegany in this tournament.
Those are some good numbers. And Amos Whitcomb gets the loose ball on a reset, a chance where Victoria could have cleared, and instead they now look for another defensive stop. We'll see if it's costly or not. There's a drive and a save by Cook, and he'll just fall on top of it. Almost into the final 5 minutes of action here in the third period. Still all tied up, 8-8, and it's the Shamrocks leading in the shots category, 49-42.
Man, Leo Sturls can hardly get onto the floor. He's in such agony.
Now Johnson over to Connor Lies, shoots, and another save by Abrams. Looks like he lost it, but ends up behind the net. Connor Lies stepped through the crease and then was next to touch, so they'll give possession back now, under 5 to play in the third. Pass just over center as Maybe gets the feed, waits for some help. Up to Kettle. Now Amos, 15 to shoot. Amos over the top, skip feed, one-timer. Cook with a sharp save. So that one falls out of his crease. Should that have been back in?
No, not for goalies, buddy.
Okay, thank you.
Come on. It's like the easiest call.
And here comes Mace. 4:20 now to play in the third period. Through the middle. And Boyd got dumped. And he looks to the official for a call, who looks away. Darius Anderson takes it off the turf. He'll backpedal into the corner. Does he want to go to the net? He does, and runs into Cook, still laying in the crease. And now
not to take a
no goal, they'll say.
I was going to say, you got to be careful. You're not taking a penalty trying to get Darius Anderson out of your crease, but you still got to pay attention where the ball is, fellas. That could have been costly for Victoria.
I mean, we'll look back at that in a moment. We just played the replay, but I mean, Anderson might have been out of the crease by the time that went in.
It was close for sure.
Now Connor Lies, pass and a big collision. Wade got dumped. Look out as the heat continues to get ramped up here. Wade is back to his feet, but he's grabbing at his head here. Looks like he's all right, as he just might have been fixing his cage, but let's take another look at this. Teddy is Brody Wade just got blown up. Cutting through, big collision. Wow.
That was just, didn't have the ball, wasn't getting the ball. They got absolutely dumped. And then I think Boyd's going to get an extra slash as he came in. So 2 each, I believe. Now it's Xavier Taylor, who throughout this whole tournament has had a bit of a nasty edge to him, and I've actually really liked his game.
Absolutely.
He plays with a ton of intensity. and just never afraid of any situation. And it's going to be Allegany possession.
And again, this is the right call. You know, Allegany had the first penalty. The second one was going to the slash to Jackson Boyd. So with him getting the second penalty, this is Allegany possession, and it's going to be 4-on-4. So plenty of room available. Still tied here. 3.5 remaining in the third period. And there is still a lot of this story to be written. Not a lot of time left in this game, but still some big results on the line.
I can't believe we could be getting 2 ties in a row.
Unbelievable stuff.
That would make that Snake Island Ladner game very important.
As Becker gets a stick up high, now far side feed. Fake shot by Whitcomb. Keon Whitcomb almost runs out of room, and how did Amos get that on target?
Great shot there from Amos Whitcomb on the wrong side of the floor. A little touch shot, but an even better save by Cody Cook to keep this game tied.
As Kettle switches hands, drives, shoots, Cook. Another big save for his team, exactly 3 minutes to go, and we'll see if Brody Wade is going to come back out onto the turf after taking that huge collision, but got to imagine we're going to see a very motivated Wade when he does return, assuming he does. And he's not on the floor currently. It's Tyler Mace and Marsh for the righties. Connor Lyes out there. Mace dropped it as the shot clock starts to wind down, and taken away an opportunity for the Arrows, and Jensen wisely turns back as there is a defender in Benson closing the gap.
Yeah, good job by Allegany to get up the floor. Good job by Victoria to get off the floor to not allow that transition opportunity.
As Whitcomb finds Kettle. Now Lane Smith directing traffic. Wants a pick over top. That one catch a piece of the post.
Did.
And now Christensen is going to run onto it. He's got Benson with him. The captain shoots, and a big save by Goa. Maybe his most important one of the game to this point. Big collision on the sideboards. Loose ball picked up by Anderson. Byrne chasing him down.
Byrne's got to be careful here.
Don't take a penalty. Under 2 minutes to go. Darius Anderson will slow up. Watched on by David Byrne, keeping him at bay. High screen coming. Anderson wants the shot. A bouncer off the shoulder of Cook. Byrne grabs the loose ball. Circles the cage. 1.5 to play. Ari Stevens receives that over the center. And here comes Brody Wade back out. As we are back to 5-on-5 lacrosse. Johnson thought about the shot, feeds it down low. There's a falling shot going through the crease, though, and we do have an Arrows penalty. A massive opportunity again for Victoria. 1:11 remaining, and they will go to the man advantage.
Yeah, Jackson Bowie slow to get up here. I think he might have banged his head on the turf as he was falling. He caught the pass in traffic, was trying to roll to the net, and then Rudy George just got his hands all over him and wrestled him to the ground, and I just think Bowie just smacked his back of his head off the turf. But what an opportunity here for Victoria. Shots 51-47, game tied 8 apiece.
Well, the request at the beginning was leave it all out on the turf, and safe to say the Shamrocks have done exactly that. And what an opportunity this is. We've talked about at a certain point, you have to bear down and take advantage of some of these chances. Well, this would be the Shamrocks answering the bell if they could do that, and the Arrows need a stop. But the Shamrocks will remain on the power play for the rest of this game, barring a goal. Johnson backpedals, gets over top, steps into a shot. Abrams makes the save, and he'll collect. Under a minute to go. Lobbed over the center line. Xavier Taylor deflects it and then takes it off the bounce. He's got a man on his back. Drops his stick. Victoria gets it back. And here they go. 40 seconds remaining. McCulley gets it over the line. Jackson Boyd. He's joined by Brody Wade. Leaves for Parker Johnson. Marsh and Drouin join the action. Johnson to Wade. looking through the middle. Skip feed, finds Boyd. Backhand pass down low. Drouin had to take it out of the crease.
Got to pressure. You got to step up, shut everybody off, knock down every pass you can.
And some fallen bodies, as I believe that's David Byrne. He had it, and they got timeout. What an effort by Byrne. One hand on his stick, collected the loose ball, and the officials knew that Victoria wanted it. They looked over, saw the timeout signal, so 14.4 will be the remaining time on the clock here. Cook will start on the bench.
And I thought they might call David Byrne for the handball when he fell down, but the officials couldn't see it. And now Vincent Burrell having some words with Billy D. Smith, the head coach of the Arrows.
Yeah, Becker was pleading for a face-off. But actually, I mean, considering they are 5-on-4, do you go 6-on-4 here, or does that clog up the room a little bit too much?
It does kind of clog it up, and I don't think they're putting 9 guys out there right now.
Can't do that.
Couple too many there, Timmy. I think the officials are going to talk over this one. I'm not sure what the discussion is.
I wonder if, yeah, so they're going to start. I was going to say, I wonder if that was the discussion, maybe where the ball is going to start.
And they're not going to pull Cody Cook. So Parker Johnson's going to have to find some speed here. They got too many men. Allegany's got too many men on the floor.
And now they realize Leo Sturos limps off onto the bench.
And now Becker's going to head off so they can get Sturos or a defender back out there. Not a lot of time, but enough time to get up the floor and set something up here.
So 5-on-4, 14.4 to go. Tie game 8-8. Victoria looking for their first win. Wade down behind the net. Marsh parks himself, finds Johnson. 6 to go. There's a shot wide. Boyd looking for it. 2 to go. They can't find it. And Allegany will send it the length of the floor. Victoria will go winless through the President's Cup. And chaos continues here on day number 5 as we see a tie. And as you mentioned, all of a sudden, the late game between the Ladner Pioneers and the Snake Island Muskies is massively important.
So now Edmonton's on 9 points. Allagany's on 9 points. Snake Island sits on 6 and Ladner sits on 6. Sorry, on 8. So if Ladner wins, they'll take first outright. If Snake Island wins, Edmonton and Allegany will be 1-2. And Allegany will get the first seed because they beat Edmonton. And Ladner beat Snake Island, so Ladner would finish third. So it would be Edmonton, Snake Island, Allegany, Ladner. Or sorry, Allegany, Edmonton.
And if I could sum all that up with one word, I would just say chaos.
That's the best.
That's the best. That's what we asked for.
That's what I wanted. It's at the end of a long tournament like this, you never want to see someone just cakewalk through it all. You want some chaos. You want the last game to mean something. Because, you know, if Allegany wins this, if the game earlier was a win, you know, then Snake Island and Ladner, you know, couldn't get up there and it wouldn't have meant anything. We could have seen some light rosters. But now we're going to have to sit back, relax, and watch. Well, at least I get to sit back, relax, and watch.
As long as there's somebody else available to do the math, I am.
Well, we won't really need to do the math because the only ties we can have now are two-way ties, and so that just goes to head-to-head.
Okay, then I'm here for the chaos. And we'll wait for the MVPs here, but with the coaching staffs being the ones that pick the MVPs for their own team, I got to imagine that Cody Cook is going to be the guy for the Shamrocks. And our cameraman extraordinaire, George Parra, got a great shot of a big embrace with the entire team and Cook. Everybody going to give him a big hug, and there it is. He does get the MVP. He was saying hello to the officials, and everybody was heading back towards his team just to head back for the MVP.
And that's the right choice. Both goaltenders were outstanding here tonight. Both faced upwards and over of 50 shots. Both gave up 8. And that'll be a nice picture between the goaltender union. As Cody Cook wraps up his lacrosse career with a tie, but an outstanding performance in between the pipes. So their season ends. Allegany season will continue. They will play in one of the 2 semifinal games tomorrow afternoon. First game 3:30, first game 4:30, second game 7:30. Right here on BC Sports TV.
But that's going to do it for this one. For the entire cast of characters up here in the booth, for cameraman extraordinaire George Parra, for Teddy Jenner, I've been Tino Farah, we've been BC Sports TV, and we will